everyone. Welcome to Artists for Everyone. And today I'm going to talk about making your own monogram and then turning it into a chop that you can use on your origami or any of your artwork on your dandelion lessons. And, you know, making a monogram was something really special to me, and it kind of evolved from not wanting to put my signature on my artwork because I thought it just kind of stuck out and it didn't fit in. And so I started researching how I could do that in a different way, and I decided to make just a little monogram. I was very inspired by a book called The Unknown Craftsman, and that book, I'll leave a link to that in the description box. That book really inspired my own kind of sensibility about signing one's work. It affirmed my beliefs. And while I know there is the need to sign your work, especially when you're selling your work to collectors like I do, that they want a signature on there, but I didn't want it to be something that was obtrusive or that stuck out on the piece of work. So I developed a monogram. And I'm going to show you kind of the process that I went through to do that. So my name is Kateri Ewing. My initials are K-E. My middle name is Renee, so K-R-E. And all I did, I'm going to turn my paper. All I did was start writing my initials down and kind of turning them different ways. So I turned the K this way and the E this way. And I didn't, I even did something like I did K, and then I made the K into an R, and then I kind of made an E, and that was really busy to me. So I started using all different ways of writing my initials. I tried a circle, and in the circle I put the E, and then the K, and it just didn't have, I don't know, didn't have the right look that I wanted. So then I started thinking about, well, what if I put the K on its side, and then I made the E come down from it. And I kind of liked that, but it looked Asian to me, which I love Japanese and Chinese characters, all Asian language characters. I really love the aesthetic of them. And so this appealed to me in that way. But then I thought, it looks a little bit like a bug landing. I don't know why. So then I basically made a box, and I liked the box, and I drew a line in the middle, and I made the K, and then I drew a line to complete the E. So really, it is my initials. I have the K here. Okay, you can see the K. And then I made the E coming off of the K. And I enclosed it in a box. And I really liked it. And so I started using it. I signed all of my artwork with this little symbol, which represents my initials. So everybody has different initials, and you may not even want to use your initials. You can use anything if you wanted to. I mean, you could draw a circle and then draw a peace sign if you wanted to. I mean, it doesn't matter. What matters is that something that's meaningful to you and that you use consistently, that it becomes your symbol, okay? And symbols are really wonderful things to have. And it makes it special. So, and you can look at other initials. Let's say your initials are SR. And so with a circle, an S might fit really nicely. An S, and then an R. And you could refine that, okay? Let's say your initials are LM, and you could start with the M, and then somehow you could make the L over here, and it could be like a mount, you know, almost like a mountain range type of symbol, and then enclose it in a box. So it would be just like this, you know. So you have to do that work. You have to sit down with your initials or whatever symbol is meaningful to you, and you have to start playing with different variations on those, okay? You know, I remember trying this where I tried a Roycroft symbol with my initials in it, you know, and it was just too busy to me. It was too busy. I really liked the simplicity of this, and that it was truly my initials back to back, one on top of the other. I like the way it looks. So that is your work to do. I suggest that you get a clean sheet of paper and a nice pencil and just sit down and start doodling and try to come up with something with your initials or a symbol that's meaningful to you. And then once you settle on it, you can start signing your work this way, but you can also carve it into a chop. And that's what I did. So when I was traveling, I was in a little Tibetan gift store, and they had these little chop sets. It's just soapstone. It's carved really beautifully. And then on the bottom of it, it was smooth. So what I did is I took some carving tools and I carved out my monogram on the chop. It's very rough. It's not professional in any way. And soapstone is really soft, so I just used a fingernail clipper, the little part that you use to clean your nails. And I started carving. So if I just pull it through here, I'll just go around the edge. You can see that it carves very easily. And I just worked on this, and I kept cleaning it off and working on it again and again until my monogram was carved into the soapstone. So that is a really simple way to do it. Now, if you don't have a chop, okay, you can use other things, and I'll show you that in a minute. But chops are relatively easy to find, and I did some research online. You can even buy them at Amazon. I recommend buying them from a small business, something owned by a family. And I really like Blue Heron Arts in California. Henry Lee is an amazing calligrapher and artist, and he has a wonderful online web store, and he sells many, many different kinds of blank chops that you could seal yourself. So I will also leave a link to his website in the description box. So this is my chop, and I'm going to show you a couple others. This one was gifted to me, and on this side has initials. This was a long time ago, and I used it with vermilion ink. And then this side has this beautiful carving in it, and I have no idea what this means, but it's truly beautiful. So if I were to use an ink pad with it, and I just use regular ink pads. I've got all sorts of them that I've picked up in different places. Just an ink pad that you would find at the craft store. So if I put some ink on it and then stamp it, isn't that beautiful? So that's something else you could do. You could find one that's already made in a pattern that's pleasing to you and make it your own, and that's fine. So that's one version. And then the other thing that is a really good idea is to use something made for a wax seal. So wax seals are what people used to use to seal envelopes of letters, and they usually come with a stick of wax with a wick on it that you can melt onto your letter and then press your wax stamp into. So this one is one that I purchased in Ireland, and while I do use this for wax seals, there's no reason why I couldn't use it with ink. So I'll show you. Oh, no, that didn't work very well, did it? Let's do it again. Maybe it won't work. Well, you know what? Maybe if I had something underneath this to give it a little bit of better. So if you put like a piece of cork or another piece of paper underneath, it might work better. So that's another idea for you. You could buy a wax seal that has your initial on it. I could buy a K, and use that for my stamp. So, you know, if you don't feel like carving your own, that is another option for you. And you can buy these at any gift store, stationery store, online. It's a wax seal. And they're metal, and they usually come in pretty little boxes, and they're wonderful. You could also use it as a wax seal to sign your letters. So that's another option. And then another thing that you could do is that you could just use an eraser. It's just a piece of white plastic eraser. And you could draw, I'm going to draw my monogram on here, small. So you could get a bigger eraser, that would be a lot easier. Okay, and then I could use some kind of carving tool to carve this out. I don't really recommend an X-Acto knife, but I might have to with this. You know, so you could start carving this. Yeah, I think you'd have to probably use some kind of knife, which I don't have. And also a bigger eraser would help if you had a bigger surface area. You could carve, you could get a rubber stamp carving kit and make your own rubber stamp seal. That would be fine too. I don't really have the tools to do that for you right now, but I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be a soapstone chop. You can get inventive and use what you have. Do you remember when we made potato stamps in grade school? Same thing, you could do that. You could take a potato and carve your initial in part of it and use that as a stamp. So it really, you know, the whole point is to discover your monogram and what it is that you want to make your very own symbol that you can sign your work with, your dandelion lessons, your origami, whatever it is that you want to create, you can put your own stamp on it. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today. It's a pretty quick video, but there's a lot of meaning, I think, in creating your own symbol. And I really love my chop that I made. And again, these are not hard to find. And it didn't take me long at all. And the fingernail tool works great on the soapstone, so that's really all you need. So let me see here. And that's my chop. And the other thing, it doesn't matter if the impression isn't perfect. That's even better. Sometimes it's missing parts, sometimes it's complete, but that doesn't matter. It's actually more lovely when it's not perfect. All right, so I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope that you will try to create your own monogram. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comment box below, and I'll be happy to help any way that I can. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.